You're listening to Tipsy Book Reads. I'm Rebecca.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Brooklyn.
And we're tipsy. We're so excited to have you on this podcast finally. This has been a long time coming, and so we appreciate your graciousness. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about you and your background, and you'll dive right into your books.
Yeah, so first off, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. It has been a long time in the making. I'm Brooklyn Quintana. I am the author of the Fynneas Fog series. There's 2 books currently out. Book 3, I keep saying this, but I keep lying also. Book 3, barring any unforeseen circumstances again, will be out in 2026. And yeah, that's who I am.
Amazing. Just life. Life is life, is it not?
Life happened. Well, it was supposed to come out this year, and then I got pregnant, and then I got engaged, and I was like, I don't have the capacity to be doing this right now, so it got kind of pushed out till 2026. But it will be out in 2026, I swear, at this point.
I love this. We can't wait to read it. Well, we're going to dive right in. So I have my copy of Nine of Swords here, and one of the things that kind of caught my eye when we had first met many moons ago and found your book, I think it was at the book fair, the back of the cover is such an interesting, like, it's not a synopsis really, it's more like a welcome letter, I guess, in a way. So what was your thought process behind writing that as the synopsis on the back of the book?
My dirty little secret is that I am really bad at writing summaries. And as you can tell by my nearly 800-page book, brevity is not my forte either. So I thought, what is a good way to get around it? And then I just rolled with, what if I just talked to the reader as if they were going to go to the school and just kind of made it intriguing that way to avoid kind of showing my hand as being bad at summaries.
That's a fantastic answer.
It's brutally honest.
It's brutally honest, but it's also so different that it catches people's eye, you know?
I'm glad. I'm glad that it came across that way and not like, what is she hiding?
She hiding.
So funny. Okay, so we love messy family dynamics. And that's kind of what we get here, right? But royalty. So what made you write more character-driven than plot? I
feel like a lot of the time, and this is just my personal opinion on things, because as long as people are reading, I don't care what you're reading. I'm just happy people are literate. I think a lot of fantasy books, especially nowadays, kind of focus very hard on the plot of things. And mentally, it just reads like kind of like a video game. Like, here's your character quest, and now we have to hit the character beats to get to the end that's already set up, regardless of who the character is, because of like essentially like an NPC kind of like playability sort of thing. And that's just how it reads to me a lot of the time. And I think it's really fun and makes it more as realistic as you can get with this kind of book, because your life doesn't have a plot. And what happens to you is very much driven by your own interpersonal needs and reactions and wants and desires. So it's really fun to have, like, clearly there is something going on in the story. Finn does have to get things done. But he doesn't have to defeat a Dark Lord at the end of every school semester. Like, he has his own things happening, and the plot happens at Finn's pace as he kind of enters into the world and learns new things, and he doesn't have to hit these beats because he's got his own very distinct personality as a character. So I think that aspect of writing and plotting it out that way based on how the characters interact with each other, not necessarily how they interact with the objectives that they have to get done, is more fun for me to write and hopefully fun for people to read.
I think it's fun. I mean, even just like the relationship between like Finn and his sister, right? Like between the book and like kind of passing that quest on and being like, well, I'll come back, I'll figure it out. You figure it out, I'll come back to it. Like, that is such a in the moment decision, I feel, that does drive the plot in a sense. So I appreciate that, because you're right. Like, fantasy books typically are very, very, very plot driven, and so that's an interesting take on it. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it'd be super out of character if Finn wanted to solve a mystery since he's not like the sit down and read a book type. So it'd be
exactly.
weird. So like you hand him a mystery and he's like, that's not a me problem. That could be a you problem. I've got other things doing.
Yeah, I loved that. Like reading through that, I was like, this makes total sense. This completely. So speaking of the story itself, where did this come from? I mean, we have like island vibes, school, everything's scary, like middle schoolish age. Like it's where did this idea come from?
I think I qualify it as an amalgamation of things I'm personally interested in and then marketability, because it is a business. And one of the big things about being an author, and especially in a really saturated market like fantasy, is you have to stand out some way. And there's not a lot of medieval tropical fantasy going around. So that was like, okay, well, we'll take standard tropes, but also it's on an island. And also there's a jungle. It's not like a deciduous forest full of fog and monsters. It's like straight up Jumanji Nightmare Island over there.
Literally.
So it was like that as like the marketing decision to set it in that kind of environment. And then the story is just like things I like. I really love reading about history. So there's a lot of things that are pulled from like Roman and Greek history, just given kind of that like standard British-esque fantasy medieval setting. And then I love horror movies. And book one is like how I slowly lure you into a series that gradually becomes a horror series. But I'm just, it's like, we're going to ease you into it, Yeah. It's a light horror in book one. And then book two, you're like, ooh, a little bit of blood. So I just kind of wanted to write a book that I wanted to read. And that's kind of how Nine of Swords came about.
I love that. So what made you decide to make this into a 9-book series?
Oh, there's just so much going on. Yeah. And thematically, 9 comes up a lot. So it just seemed like a nice, bow on the whole thing at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Love it. All right, so snarky banter. Where do you get that from?
That's just how I talk to people.
I love it.
So yeah, I don't know. I think when the characters interact, I will say the lines out loud to make sure they read as if they're normal and not stilted and awkward. But I'm very sarcastic with my friends and very kind of meanly snarky sometimes when I get to know you really well. So I was just like, what if you just have characters who everybody's kind of on that level of fed up with everything. So they're just very glib and nonplussed about just a lot of situations. They're like, talking spider? Yeah, of course there is. All right.
Literally. That's one of the things that I so many times felt like I laughed out loud because I was like, this is just so snarky, so goofy. I love it.
I think, if you're like one of the characters in the story and you're experiencing things alongside Finn, you would get to a point where you're like, of course he talks to bats. That's not surprising anymore. Let's move on. More important things are going on.
I literally have that in my next question, that exact, you talked about.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. That's so funny.
Holland and Finn trying to keep it not too spoilery, but that's in the final chapter of the first book, right? And so they have a conversation, this exchange that is both adorable and life-changing at the same time. So without giving too many spoilers, I feel like you did such a good job at writing these kiddos as kiddos and from their perspective while keeping that oh my gosh, the world around us is insane, but here's our goofy, I giggled at you talk to bats because I can totally see a kid saying that in that moment about someone else being weird, but you just accept it,
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So being in that mindset, how did you get there? How were you able to get into the younger, point of view?
This is gonna sound so cringy if people still say cringy. I feel like I didn't quite grow up at all. I got older and had to go do corporate life for a while and had to go be an adult and bought a house and all these things. But on the inside, I don't think I ever overcame my love of weird whimsical things. And so that's the kind of media I consume. So I think it's really easy for my brain to switch back to what were we like when we were 13? Oh, very similar to what we are now, just, a little less wise about the world. So I think having never lost that love of adventure and like what's out there in the world and reading and movies and things like that really helps when I'm writing them as when they're younger kids to be able to like switch into that mindset of like, okay, this is how kids talk.
That's perfectly said. I love that. That's one of the things that I'm always curious about. I'm sure, Jess, you are too. Sorry if I'm talking too much. But just having the ability to write from different perspectives, and it kind of like interchanges through this book, and you do a great job at like keeping it all flowing, well and understanding it. So I love that.
Oh, thank you.
You did great. But I love your answer too. Like, I mean, does anyone grow up?
I mean, I hope there are some people in positions of power who are a little bit more mature and like, not out here like, what if we have talking worms and bats and things?
Right. But, we need those people in this world, so.
Yeah, no, you need the weird artists. I mean, obviously, I'm a proponent of keeping the weird artists around.
Right. Speaking of which, do you have any, like, specific authors that you love to read right now that are maybe a little bit more on the weirder side? Like, I know we're all from Florida, so there are plenty of funky, weird authors out there that are wonderful to read.
I've met a lot of them at this point, because I guess the author circle is very small, and you do come across people, and then you keep seeing them out and about. Every time I give this answer when I'm interviewed, I always feel like I'm betraying my own group of people. I don't read a lot of fantasy, and I don't read a lot of modern authors. Like, if I'm going to pick up a fantasy book to relax, I'm just going to pick up Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling over and over again, and usually none of the rest of the series. That's just like my go-to.
That's your one?
Yeah, that's my faves. And as for like other books I read, I think I read a lot of Poe, both like his short stories and poetry, and I think that kind of seeps into my writing and influences how I write a lot. And then if I'm in like a very apathetic towards humanity mood, I will like whip out some Charles Bukowski and just casually flip through his work. But usually if I'm picking up something that's not nonfiction history books, that's like my kind of go-to.
That's so interesting.
I love it. It's such a mix of inspirations, and I think that's very valuable in your writing as well. You said you like horror, so not necessarily book related, but what horror movies do you like?
Oh, wow. If you give me any kind of religious horror, like if there's a possession or an exorcism, I'm here for it. I also have like a really niche love of any kind of horror movie that takes place in a jungle, which clearly has influenced my writing.
That makes total sense.
If you give me a jungle, a cave, or a shark-related horror movie, I don't care how bad it is, I will sit down and watch it. Like, that's like my go-to calm down. But I also really, this is a terrible answer, I love Rob Zombie movies. Like, I will casually turn on House of a Thousand Corpses, and that's like my unwind kind of vibe. I think it really freaks out people who know me. They're like, it's a weird movie to chill out to. I'm like, yeah, well, it's a casual horror thing in the back. And I really like, I don't know if we're going to qualify him as horror, but Guillermo del Toro movies, like Pan's Labyrinth and The Orphanage, I think I watched those when I was really young, like probably like 10 or 11, and that really influenced my love of dark, creepy fantasy above like happy, colorful, whimsical fantasy.
That's fair. I love that you unwind to that. That's incredible. Personally, I can't relate, but I love that for you.
Yeah, you just get a glass of wine, you turn on Sinister, and that's like your just relaxation movie. And then you go get things done at the end of the day.
And sleep? You sleep at night?
Yeah, I've been watching horror movies. My dad, I blame him. He let me watch the Halloween movies when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And then I just got jaded to it. And I just really liked the craft of like, oh, how are we going to, make this creepy and scare people? And how like shot composition influences what you find scary. I nerd out about these things. So when I'm watching a horror movie, I'm not even here to be scared. I'm just like, all right, well, how are you going to make this exorcism different than the other 40 exorcism movies?
That's fair.
I like
and
the
that
craft,
goes back to
guys.
your point about like setting your book apart from others in the industry, just like that the cogs going.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, what makes this different?
Exactly.
I love that. Very cool.
That's okay.
Okay, so we have a question that we ask anytime we get to interview an author, and it's a very important question. It's kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
1, are you a soup person? And if so, what is your favorite soup?
That's the best question you could have asked me, because, and all of my friends who will listen to this podcast will know my immediate answer is I hate soup. Like, I flat out hate hot liquids of any kind, no soup, no tea, no coffee. But like the running joke with all of my friends is anytime any of them are under the weather, I'm like, do you need me to bring you soup? What kind of soup can I get you? But I hate it. I will not eat soup.
Wow, what is it about soup?
It's like I said, it's hot liquids of any kind is the only hard stance I will ever take in an interview. Is no hot liquids.
That's incredible.
Have you, like, been burned before?
No, there's no, trenches of Vietnam response I have to soup or hot liquids. Liquid should be refreshing. I don't want to be boiled from the inside. I just don't like it.
Honestly,
and also, I've only lived in hot climate states like Florida and Texas.
Yeah, we're Florida girls.
Yeah, so there's really no occasion where it's like, ooh, it's fall, chilly, let me have some soup.
That's fair, but we're like, oh, it's under 70 degrees, it's soup season.
You're trying to pretend that it's wintry for you?
Yes,
Okay.
put me in a sweater.
Yeah. And I'm like, my AC, it can go colder. I love that you said you're not a soup person, though, because every single person that we've interviewed...
No.
Oh, I'm breaking up.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, bummer.
You're breaking up.
Am I back?
Yeah, ish.
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Oh, now you're back. Oh,
I'm back?
Ish. I can hear you clearly.
Yep.
So you
Hello.
love that her answer about the soup?
That you didn't like it. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was typing it out to Jess. I was like, ask her. What was I gonna say? Oh no. Just that every person that we've like pretty much have interviewed up until now has been a soup person. So it's fantastic that you're not a soup person because this is such a different take.
Yeah, it's so funny. And I was not expecting that because you were like, this is the perfect question. I hate soup. And that's so funny.
Well, when I'm interviewed, I don't normally take hardline stances against anything. Like I said, if you read, I'm happy you're literate. I've learned to not fight with people over things and just be happy for them. But I hate soup. And that will be the hill I die on.
Okay, so do you like tea and coffee if it's iced?
I mean, I'm from the South, so I love a good sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, but I hate coffee. I even hate iced coffee, so. But I don't have like a hardline anti-coffee stance like I do soup. I understand love of coffee. Soup just baffles me.
You're like,
That's
live your
so
life,
funny.
drink your coffee, but soup should not exist.
I also this is going to be such a weird thing to say. I'm going to circle it back to make it book relevant. There's a very specific soup-related plotline in book 3, specifically because so many people bring up soup to me at this point that I'm like, that it's a plot point now. We're having a whole thing about stew for like 3 chapters.
I love that.
Wait.
That's so good. Alrighty, well, we are about at our time here, and we're so thankful that you were able to come on our podcast today, and with all of the crazy things that have thrown at each 3 of us.
It's okay. It was meant to be, guys.
It was meant to be. That's what I was like, you know what, it's going to be good if we've gone through this much. But, would you like to plug anything while we're here? We talked a little bit about book 3, but any social medias, any upcoming events?
Yeah, well, first off, definitely buy book 1 and book 2, everybody who's listening. Book 3 will be wonderful. If you like soup, there you go. There's a plot point all about it. You could find out what's going on and what other podcast and media appearances I've been on brooklynquintana.com. And then I'm on TikTok. Since I've been pregnant, I have not posted a lot of TikToks. I just don't have the energy for it. But I am on there, and I will be back. So it's, I think it's the Brooklyn Q. And then I'm on Instagram at brooklyn.quintana.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Very cool. Well, thank you again. This was so much fun.